When you see a big and successful VTuber making brand deals and merchandise of themselves, the usual response is, oh yeah, of course they got the rights to their design, 100%, no doubt about it. I mean, how else would they be this successful for this long if they didn't own everything about their branding? So it was not an initial surprise to me when on the 4th of July of 2024, the company Good Smile announced a series of well-known Western VTubers to their upcoming roster. For those not in the know, Good Smile is a large company that produces Nendoroids, which are cute, palm-sized chibi-style figures that are often highly collectible and customizable. Their announcements that day featured big VTubers that you may recognize, including Iron Mouse, Zentreya, Dokibird, and even Filian. However, out of these 4 announcements that day, one would strike the most controversy because it was soon revealed that Filian, this popular VR chat and shorts content dominating VTuber who has over 2 million subs on YouTube, 1.1 million followers on TikTok, and over 900,000 followers on Twitch, actually does not own the rights to create merchandise of her own model. And, in fact, Filian admitted to pirating at least one of her models on at least 2 separate occasions, so she didn't even pay to have the license to even use it commercially for streaming. Now, color me surprised finding out someone with this big of a platform doesn't have this basic license, or even having her own unique design or model for real. So today we'll be discussing Filian, her most recent controversy, and what happened with the Good Smile Nendoroid merchandise, and even briefly go over her previous controversies, as this is not the first time Filian's landed in a bit of hot water over the years. Hi everyone, you can call me Saphera de Noma, but you can call me Saf. This is just a quick reminder to not harass any individuals named in this video. Alright, with that out of the way, let's continue. So I'm gonna be real with y'all, I don't watch Filian. I'm not a regular consumer of her content. I've only seen some of her shorts in passing, some of which are silly, but otherwise I just know of her for the most part. As far as I know, she got her start from being a VR chat streamer, using a model on there and presumably doing VR chat shenanigans, clipping them and eventually rising to stardom that way because her humor is very OMG, look at her slip and fall and listen to her yell and make loud silly noises. Isn't that so funny, lol XD? When she eventually branched out of only VR chat and interacted with other VTubers, as well as saying she's a VTuber in training in her name, that's when she solidified herself as an independent VTuber rather than just purely a VR chat only streamer. In my eyes, she's a VTuber, and a prolific and well-known one at that. She's so prolific, in fact, that starting mid-2023, she has had numerous merchandise made in her image that have already been in production and sold out, including, but not limited to, an official Streamily where she can autograph and send you merch of her VTuber on posters costing at least $70 minimum, not including shipping, a Filian plush made by Makeship, an official U2's figurine, a Novel Horizons figurine with her in an idol outfit, a skin in an indie go-kart racing game made by Oh Baby Games, a t-shirt, a hoodie, and a mousepad merch on her site Filian.co that she advertised, and even a Gamer Subs waifu cup. Out of all these merchandise prior to the Nendoroid, only Gamer Subs had a clear description about who the design artist of Filian's model, which clearly listed on their site that the design was made by Jingo_1016 on Twitter. The rest of the merch? Absolutely none. Their only credits being to Filian the content creator, not the artist. Which I suppose in normal circumstances is probably acceptable, since it's usually assumed that the VTuber owns their IP and also commercial rights because they are, in theory, using that brand as their face. No one seemed to really question these merchandise deals for the longest time, presumably because many were like myself who thought she 100% owns merchandising rights, since we wrongly thought that she owned her design and therefore the model. That or this was all worked out behind the scenes as they usually are. Even on June 3rd, Filian had this to say regarding making merch of her for her conventions. Hi, this is Filian's manager. If you want to make merch of her for conventions, go for it. My manager is me. So it was a surprise to everyone when, later in the evening on July 4th, after the Good Smile tweet went live, the one who made Filian's model revealed that this is, in fact, not specifically Filian as we know it, but rather a general 3D anime model named Rindo that is available for pay-to-use for 7,000 Japanese yen or around $45 US over on Booth, which is a site often used by overseas independent artists trying to sell their wares at an affordable price. Jingo's message goes as follows, with the translations done by Lind. Hello, this is Jingo. This morning I received many messages about the announcement posted by Good Smile Company about the production of Nendoroid based on a VTuber who used my Rindo model as a base for their avatar. Since I found out when I was still traveling, it took me a while to figure out what was going on. I did not receive any prior communication from Good Smile Company nor the VTuber in question about the production of this Nendoroid figure. From my point of view, the fact that there was an announcement of plans to professionally produce a figure based on my character, despite the fact that I had yet to hear about it, is very puzzling. So, I am currently in the process of communicating with Good Smile Company and the VTuber in question, and am waiting a response. Since this situation involves companies, not just individual people, it will take a bit of time for everything to be resolved. I hope you all can understand this. Please wait for the outcome. The first image is the attached Nendoroid, the second is Jingo's Rindo character, the third is the VTuber's recolor of the model, the fourth is another depiction of Jingo's character. When looking at the booth page for the Rindo model, we can see that there's a lot of terms of service. In these terms of service, it states that for personal use and streaming is totally permitted. That isn't the main issue. However, for use for tangible goods, which looks to be physical merchandise such as figurines, this says to please contact the licensors. It is clear from Jingo's message that no such communication was done regarding the Nendoroid, and presumably not for the other merchandise as well, since this seems to surprise the artist who made this model. They have a respectful and professional way of speaking and handling the situation, which is to contact the involved parties to try get a resolution. A few hours after Jingo made a response, another 3D model artist from Booth spoke out about one of their models known as Mint. This Mint model is one of Filian's OG models that she started using all the way back in 2021, and she still uses it on occasion to this day, such as this tweet in January 7th of this year. This artist, Komato, says, "We have received numerous inquiries regarding a specific VTuber. Regarding this matter, we do not permit the use of the Mint sales model as an original character for sales plush toy, distribution of skins in a racing game. Please follow the terms of use when using the avatar." Looking at their booth page for the Mint model, which is available for pay-to-use purchase for 4,000 Japanese yen or around $25 US, they also have a terms of service which is very similar to Jingo's, where personal use and streaming is fine, but merchandise needs to please contact licensors, to which Komato's message seems to imply that Filian had never done so for both the plush and the indie racing game skin. During all this, Twitter was popping off as it usually does when something big happens. There are many going, "Wow, I didn't know Filian didn't own her model," and there were others who were saying they never liked Filian to begin with because of her past controversies, which I'll line out briefly later this video. There were also, of course, her defenders who said the model was free and she had every right to use it for merchandise because, I don't know, something she altered the design enough so it was unique to her and therefore legal? But that, my friends, is provably false. According to people who have access to Rindo's model, they show that the model can be converted to look just like Filian through easy manipulation of the Photoshop files and some edits in the 3D model program, making it easy to demonstrate that Filian has done absolutely no changes to the design to even remotely render it 100% unique to her, which, even if she hypothetically did manage to alter things and add custom 3D parts to the model, that still isn't quite how copyright works, since as long as the base model itself is still not altered, she would not legally be able to claim it as herself since the artist's handiwork would still remain. To be honest anyway, for someone as large as Filian, she should have more than enough funds by now to commission someone for her own unique design and model. This is also keeping in mind that she regularly breaks her VR setup equipment during her stunts, which she herself has admitted to and totaled here on her channel.
Chat, I have broken 10 Valve Index controllers. That's about $150 each. Not only that, I have broken 2 Index headsets and 8 VR cables. I have also broken, as of today, a 1 base station.
How did you break a base station?
And like, girl, $3,000 is more than enough clams to cover a whole new design and 3D model for you to build your brand off of. Hell, even Vidal and Neurosama realized that they needed something legally distinct when they started popping off from Neuro's growing popularity as an AI VTuber. So Vidal went ahead and gave Neuro a whole new legally distinct model that they can properly build a brand off of, since the license in the default Live 2D young girl model that is in VTube Studios would not permit merchandise sales. I don't even know if commercial rights is on there either. If someone running an AI VTuber can foresee this legal issue, how the hell did Filian miss it? And someone who may be inexperienced with VTuber culture might be thinking right now, OMG, Saf, but what if she was afraid to change her identity and people would no longer recognize her? Well, my dear inexperienced VTuber watching viewer, I hate to break the news to you, but VTubers often do things where they get a new model or design or both on a fairly regular basis. One, because it allows them to support artists, something that Filian doesn't know how to do because she admits she paid $0 for this model when the Rindo model has never been available for free for any amount of time, and she admits to here on her own channel.
You're so beautiful. I'm so glad that you like this model that I paid $0 for and I'm using for free.
And in case you doubted that maybe she had it gifted to her, nah, she straight up admits it in this unlisted clip to pirating it.
I didn't know what a VTuber was, but it gave me an idea. What if I took my VR chat model and I started face tracking with it? So what I did was I went and ripped the model from VR chat illegally. I uploaded it into some software that I downloaded off the internet, which is the same software I'm still using today. Because I saw this girl DM video. She recommended this software called LOOOL. I said, okay, that'll work. So then I did that.
To clarify real quick, Girl DM noticed this clip go around and reinforces that her original tutorial was only for figuring out how to use a 3D model tracking program, and she has never once given any advice or has knowledge on how to pirate a model. So do not assume Girl DM was behind any of this. Continuing on with the original point, new designs and models for a VTuber are a way to drum up hype as both a big event, and the new design may better reflect the changes in their personality, experiences, and lore if they didn't feel connected to their first model. For instance, in my case, I will be having a 2.0 in the future, where your girl's gonna go from comfy looking to completely chuny to better reflect how gremlin I feel on stream. Lore-wise, both will be canon with 1.0 Saf being Saf and PJs and ready to eat, but that's all you get to know for now. Look forward to it. But in Filian's case, just having a unique but legally distinct model is totally fine to still keep her recognizable brand image, not to mention her voice and personality and humor, which are wholly unique to her. After all, a white-haired cat girl in a schoolgirl outfit isn't inherently outlandishly garish and detailed like a Genshin character, so it wouldn't be hard to make a legally distinct version of herself. There are so many ways that she could style her hair and change her accessories and make some cuter, more tailored design choices, including inside joke stuff, with her unique model that is catered towards the fan base she has fostered. It's just a shame that Filian could have had something truly going for her with no issue if she just didn't fly too close to the sun like Icarus. But unfortunately for her, her eventual merchandise branding deals would soon bite her in the bum when she got involved with a popular Nendoroid company that many Eastern fans are very, very in tune with. Speaking of Nendoroids, Good Smile deleted the post about the Filian Nendo around July 5th, 2024. Iron Mouse, Centrea, and Doki Bird are still up because these three definitely own their own unique designs and therefore have merchandising rights. On July 6th, Jingo had this update to say, again with translations done by Lind. Hello, this is Jingo. Please note that I just returned home earlier today, so I have been delayed in sorting things out. Both the VTuber in question and Good Smile Company have responded to me, and the plan is to protect my rights as much as possible. I personally wish for an amicable discussion achieved through mutual understanding. The models I create are products that anyone can use, provided that they purchase them from my booth store. Although the models are designed to be used in VR chat, their terms of use stipulate that they may be used as avatars outside of VR chat as well, provided that they are configured so that the third parties who have not purchased them cannot use them. They can also be used for independent VTuber activities. However, just because someone purchases a model on booth does not mean that they have all rights to it. In the end, it is a rented product. As follows, if someone using one of my models is earning money through videos, live streams, or other VTuber activities, I ask that they credit me somewhere. Moreover, the terms of use state that for any usage beyond general VTuber activities like creating videos and live streaming, such as the production of goods created in the model's likeness that are highly profitable in a commercial sense, one should notify me in advance so that I can provide guidance on how to credit me after due consideration. Normally, these kinds of projects are not much of an issue, since they are typically small in scale, with the VTuber themselves handling the product's production and sales without going through a corporation. However, if one is not an independent VTuber and has an agency, or if one is using it as a company or corporation, then they are to reach out to me beforehand and provide precise information about the model's usage, even if the aforementioned usage is not commercial in nature. The part of this that I took issue with was that even though the VTuber did not own the copyright to the character, They proceeded with the project and formed a contract with the company without notifying the original creator of the character in question. As follows, I have requested that the production schedule for this character merchandising project be stopped altogether. I am not after any royalties or other financial incentives. I simply wish to protect the copyrights of my characters. To allow this, such as through the sale of copyright licenses, would mean that every character derived from my model would have its own copyright. And as a result, those who use the same models as bases for their own avatars may become entrenched in complex copyright disputes. I want everyone to understand that my booth models are models for everyone, not just one person. As long as the design is not completely one's own, no matter how many changes they make to it, the copyright is non-negotiable because traces of the original author will still remain. Please be sure to check the terms of use before using a model, as it varies depending on the model and its creator. Thank you for your continued support. So this is the current and final statement we have from Jingo as of the making of this video. It seems pretty clear that they have simply said no physical merch may continue to be made of the Rindo model. And it's clear and simple for Filian what she should do. After all, if you think about the potential problems in the future should Jingo have let Filian continue making merch, then it'd lead to potential other Rindo model users to be put under fire for eventually making merch. But since Filian has already dominated the scene with her significant audience, this could lead to messy situations like copyright strikes, taking down other creators and their merch, and overall unsavory legal situations that are tricky to navigate since no one truly owns Rindo besides the artist, who is not a streamer themselves, just an artist. So, to prevent all this, stopping all current and future merch productions with the Rindo design is good. As of this video, Filian has not publicly stated on her social media accounts addressing this situation. Presumably, she talked about it briefly on stream, but probably vaguely and without much detail. But I ain't going through all her content for that, sorry. I personally think it says a lot that she hasn't talked about it elsewhere, but you know how some people say that the best thing to do when being quote called out or cancelled is to simply stay quiet and keep your head buried in the sand. Because, after all, her most loyal fans wouldn't care anyway given the size of her platform. However, she has done a few things, presumably from the ongoing discussions with Jingo. First, her June 3rd tweet where she said anyone can make merch of her, signed by her manager, aka herself, has been deleted. Her Filian.co website also no longer has her merch up and is password locked. However, her other merchandise stuff, including her own tweet announcements of the U2's figure, makeshift plush, Gamer Subs cup, Oh Baby skins, and Novel Horizons figurine, and even the video about Filian.co is still up and not taken down. So it's kinda ambiguous whether Filian cares enough or if the discussion with Jingo is to no longer make new merch with the Rindo design. Personally, I think the morally right thing to do for Filian is to cough up a percentage to give to the artist for stomping all over their terms of service for what would have been almost a year making ludicrous merchandise sales. But whether such a thing has been done is unknown and will probably never be known, and the artists themselves has said they don't necessarily want royalties. At the very least, Filian is lucky to be dealing with a generous and kind 3D model artist like Jingo, who handled everything respectfully and gracefully. But now comes the part that is possibly rough around the edges for some. I mentioned earlier that Filian had gotten into previous controversies in the past, and here I'll be briefly going over them. If you want more details, I went over them on my stream, which you can see the VOD linked in the corner above. Back in August of 2022, Filian had made a very poor joke about George Floyd. For those not in the know of who George Floyd was a black man who was murdered by police in May of 2020 when the police officer kept their knee on top of his neck and refused to get up when George cried out that he couldn't breathe, despite already being cuffed and restrained. Since then, it has sparked the Black Lives Matter movement and the ACAB, which stands for All Cops Are Bastards. Here is Filian's clip of her ill-timed joke.
Think about it. I'm not the real streamer, you guys are. You're breathtaking! You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking! Chat, that was an epic quote from George Floyd. Alright, is she on drugs or something? No. Not right now. Alright. Was that edgy or not? I'm so sorry, chat. I'm sorry. That was a little...
Personally, I saw this and decided, nah, I'm good. I don't need to watch someone who would do such a disrespectful joke in the first place. It ain't hard to be a normal person who doesn't laugh in the face of someone else's tragedy when it is well known here in the States, where Filian resides, that racism does still exist and occur towards people of color, especially towards black people. In 2023, a thread was made calling out Filian's moderators for not taking matters seriously when on a talent showcase show that Filian was hosting, they had a member named Striker Dawson at the time make an appearance. According to this person, they reached out to contact both Filian and her moderators to let them know that this man is a pedophile and has groomed minors, with a Google Drive to back up their claims with evidence of this person's misdeeds. Not only was this person ignored and other people like them were being banned and considered trolls in the server, but these moderators were deliberately ignoring this person and did not take these allegations seriously and simply told them to report it to the police, despite this person already doing so, and just wanted to inform Filian and her team that this person was a possible danger and that she should reconsider giving him a platform on her show. The fact that none of her moderators bothered to look further into the situation and merely dismissed it on sight and still remain a part of Filian's moderator team to this day says a lot. Personally, I believe you are the company that you keep, and those closest to you should represent you and how you want to behave. To this particular situation though, Striker Dawson did say that he was eventually politely asked to leave and was not banned. For more details on the Striker Dawson person, I have left links to the relevant threads in the source pastebin listed in the description below. Another incident that took place at the end of 2023 was Filian's VTuber Awards show. It was revealed that live on the show, they used an AI image for HoloLive talent Suise, and she was the only one to have AI art used for her showcase. You can see here how the other 3 contestants on this look totally normal, but Suise looks oddly out of place. Upon closer examination, her fingers are melted together like how AI usually makes hands, at least during this time, and overall this style is a very common AI art style. To some watchers or condemners of Filian, this came as no surprise since Filian herself has a dedicated AI fan art tag in her bio. Filian never addressed the AI art tag and quietly removed it from her bio sometime before or during the Nendoroid incident, and in regards to the VTuber Awards show, this was the statement after the show had taken place. We'd like to apologize for the incorrect photograph used for Suise. This project took 2 months and the efforts of many staff and volunteers, and this unfortunately slipped through the cracks. We respect and treasure the artists, talent, and fans that make VTubing special and would never intentionally use AI-generated image in our celebration. Thank you to our amazing community for finding this so that we can take steps to make sure this doesn't happen again. Hope you enjoy the show and see you next year. And personally, I think if the host had condemned the usage of AI art early on and surrounded herself with people who regularly respect artists, this oversight wouldn't have happened. I also don't know how it happened that an AI picture was used for a large VTuber under literally one of the biggest VTuber companies out there, when I'm sure there's literally dozens of official art to use instead from HoloLive's site. Like, sure, it shows up pretty early on in Google Images, but like, there's literally a good official one to use right next to it, like sheesh. Also, respecting artists? Say that again to Filian, who literally pirated her model. Continuing on, in February of 2024, Filian was once again in some heated discussion as her team had mass sent an email to editors on the commissioning platform VGen, which was asking for clippers to clip Filian, and that she'll give $200 for every 1 million views or $20 for every 100,000 views at the end of each month, and that these numbers were very easy to achieve if you just follow the steps her and her video editors have made. The video editors who received this email all laughed and said that it's a mockery of their profession, that clippers are not the same as editors, that getting even 100,000 views is difficult unless all your content is Filian related, and that, in general, $200 for 1 million views is horribly underpriced and cheap. In some regards, it can be considered that Filian is trying to draw in people to do clips of her for little to no money, essentially asking for free exposure, considering qualifying for money in the first place is already a Herculean task. To give an example of just how rare this is, here's a random clipping channel who has clipped Filian quite regularly over the past month. Out of all of these, only one Filian video has managed to garner over 100,000 views, but the rest are below 10k. Yippee! This person just made a whopping $20. Oh, but Saf, you get so many more views on shorts content. Okay, here's another channel that says Filian clips and says daily clips of Filian, and here's their shorts content. In the past 12 videos, none of them even hit 100,000 views, let alone the 1 million that Filian and her editor were bragging that wasn't easy to hit in just 1 month. Overall, someone can argue that this is just an extra incentive for the clippers who would have already clipped Filian because she's their Oshi or whatever, to which that's valid. But then, if that were the case, don't send this email to professional editors looking for actual work for actual pay, as editors are not the same as hobby clippers who do it out of love and passion for their favorites. To these editors, this was highly disrespectful, and that was their criticism. So, to sum it all up, Filian has been using her model thinking that she had every right to make merchandise, when in reality she does not. Just because something is, quote, free to use on VR chat doesn't mean it's technically free to use as you please outside of it. Once you become a VTuber and establish your presence, you should really have your own unique branding that you own all the commercial rights to. The fact Filian has not done this despite all her success and wealth, which I need to remind you she spent over $3,000 on VR equipment alone, and has a, quote, substantial amount put aside for the clipping program, and the fact that she endorses the usage of AI just shows how little care she has towards artists who are the backbone to everything VTuber related, including VR chat models. Remember, VR chat models were still made by someone who painstakingly worked hard to make the 3D model, textures, and everything. It didn't spawn out of thin air. At the very least, respect the artists who helped make it possible for you to make your branding in the first place. May Filian take this as a learning experience. There is a high chance she is already working on a legally distinct rebranding of sorts that is wholly hers in the future. Will anything else come out of this? Personally, I don't think so. Even if I personally think Filian has done numerous mistakes that go far beyond the realm of simple oopsies and instead has progressed into the territory of negligence and ignorance, I don't think she'll ever really address it at this moment in time, and might just joke about it if and when she debuts her new branding in the future. But anyway, that sums up Filian's recent controversy, and how it all came to light after months of merchandise runs that truly, Filian does not own her IP. Amazing! Back to your training arc until you get your own unique model to make proper merch of. Huh, Filian? Thank you for watching this far, and feel free to leave a comment down below about your own thoughts. Do you think Filian genuinely just made an honest mistake? Did you hear about Filian's previous controversies before? In other news, I want to thank the channel members, the Gremlins and Fancy Gremlins, for their support. It's thanks to you all that I can try to be a full-time content creator, so thank you very much. If you wish to become a member too, feel free to hit that join button below. Also, just a reminder that I do weekly Yap streams here on YouTube on Sundays 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Come hang out. Sometimes it'll be chill, sometimes it'll be about things I don't have time to make a full video for. Till next time, keep it vibin'. Bye!